So you want to learn Ojibwe, language and culture. You've come to the right place, Niji, to learn about it all. Welcome to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. BOOZHOO. Welcome to the live stream show. We'll wait a few minutes for people to come in. This is the live stream show of BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. La 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 la. Okay, hey BOOZHOO. How you doing? We're going live on the internets. My name is NANABOOZHOO, and I'm here today with the lovely and talented Natasha. Ikadom BOOZHOO, Weenie Moonshine. Say hello, sweetheart. BOOZHOO! Hello, everybody. How you doing? And, of course, we got Michael Lyons over here. Ikadom BOOZHOO, Niji. Say hello, my brother. Hi, everybody. And you're going to come up later and, like sing some songs or something? Yeah, I might. All right. So, Natasha and Michael and I are here. The Res Dogs. Anamosh. Ikadom BOOZHOO. Hello, everybody. BOOZHOO. That's Anamosh. He's one of the Res Dogs. And then there's Benjamin. Ikadom BOOZHOO, Benjamin. Say hello. Hello, everybody. And it's Benjamin. And Makwa, the bear. Ikadom BOOZHOO, Makwa. BOOZHOO, everybody. Makwa, indigenous cause. Makwa's my name, Bear. There's Bear. So maybe we'll have you guys come on camera later, huh? We just got the one camera, so those guys are gonna have to wait. So yeah, how you doing? This is the live stream BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO show. It's a podcast, not only about the Ojibwe language. Ikadom BOOZHOO, say hello. Ikadom, speak, say. And BOOZHOO, hello. If you're brand new to the channel, you might go, BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, what does that mean? Well, BOOZHOO means hello, and NANABOOZHOO is my name. NANABOOZHOO indigenous cause. NANABOOZHOO is my name. Bemidji Gamug Nindonjaba. Bemidji is where I'm from. I live in Bemidji, Minnesota. Bemidji is like, let's see, it's about 25 minutes north of LaPorte. We're sort of the big town between three reservations. We're the town that has the Walmart that Red Lake, Leech Lake, White Earth, where they all have to go to get their Walmart. If you ever, we're famous for this one thing. The Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox statue. In the early 1900s, I'm not sure what year. Hey, Brandy Marie, BOOZHOO, Mino Giga Jab. All right, I'll talk to you in a little bit. But Bemidji, let me move this a little bit. Sunny days. I'll be here for a bit, but I'll be back. Okay. So Bemidji is known for this Paul Bunyan and Blue Ox, Babe the Blue Ox. And everything in Bemidji is called like Paul Bunyan something. There's like the Paul Bunyan Power Company, Paul Bunyan Electric, Paul Bunyan Telephone, Paul Bunyan Avenue, Paul Bunyan Sub Shop, the Paul Bunyan gift, whatever. Paul Bunyan Mall. You would think the people here love Paul Bunyan. But I don't know. And to tell you the truth, he's kind of worn. I've warmed up to Paul Bunyan. When I was a young radical, I was like, man, we should take down that Paul Bunyan statue. Who is Paul Bunyan except a symbol of the clear cutting, the I don't know. I mean, it's weird. At one point, you kind of want to make it a race thing. How come we got a big statue of a big white man in Indian country? But you don't really know. Is Paul Bunyan French? Is he Norwegian? The Norwegian guys are like giants to begin with. They're tall. And then, after a while, when they were tearing down all those statues, when those college kids are like, hey man, there's a Columbus statue, we should tear that down. Because he was a racist or whatever. I did a show where I was like, okay, hey, dear Antifa, please don't tear down Paul Bunyan. Yeah, I get it. You're mad. And you don't want any art celebrating, white people. But, Paul Bunyan, he's our guy. It's the second most photographed piece of not natural art, but thing in America. You got your Mount Rushmore and then Paul Bunyan here in Bemidji. So, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool that we still have Paul Bunyan. It's so dorky. I like it. Paul Bunyan. And then I was thinking about giants just in general. Everyone talks about the Masabi Iron Range. Oh, Masabi. It is the Ojibwe word for iron range. It's like, well, no. Masabi means giant. And people think, oh, because it's such a big iron range. It's like, no, because of giants. Because then you think, all right, what's the Ojibwe word for Bigfoot? Or Sasquatch. We call him Sabe. There's Miss Sabe, giants, and then Sabe, Bigfoot. But maybe we were just calling Bigfoot a giant. And how come we always talk about Bigfoot like it's one guy? Like Paul Bunyan. There's one crazy figure that nobody even knows if he was real, called Bigfoot. And he was a wild man, all covered in hair, lived in the woods. And you could see him for a second and then he would disappear. Well, what if, it's just a race of giants? And yeah, they happen to be all hairy. I mean, it's cold up here, And I don't know. Sabe, Bigfoot. There's some talk in traditional circles. They say Sabe is a spirit. He's like a magical figure. He's a shapeshifter. They say the reason you don't see him or you find his bones or anything, their bones, is that they can shapeshift in a moment. They can go from being Bigfoot to being like a chickadee. And so people are like, oh, I saw something, and then he was gone. Or they'll see a footprint, and then the footprint will disappear. You can't just follow Bigfoot footprints to his home. You find one or two, and they go, holy man, look at the size of these Bigfoot. That guy must be, 15 feet tall, 20 feet tall. How in the world could there be such a creature and nobody can, find him? But everybody has seen him. There's a lot of Bigfoots, Sabe sightings in Bina. You go to the Bina Cafe there, and there's even one of those plaster casts on a wall of a Bigfoot. I don't know. Hey, by the way, Brandy, we got your Christmas gift. Um, they're beautiful. Natasha's wearing them right now. We really appreciate it, and thank you so much for the. I think it's just the two of us here. Thank you for the Walmart cards. It comes at a really good time. We're all out of groceries. So miigwech, I really appreciate it, by the way. Um, and yeah, you're the best, miigwech. And by the way, you got a little something coming for you in the mail. I hope it gets there before Christmas. Sunny days. So anyway, Bigfoot. So he might be a shapeshifter. And then they were talking about, the 7 Anishinaabe values, or the 7 teachings or whatever. Like honesty, humility, truth, wisdom, love, respect. Respect, love, wisdom, truth, humility, honesty. Is that all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which one am I forgetting? Oh, bravery. Akwede Ewin. Bravery. I always forget one. But they all have an animal that represents, one of these values. And so, like, love is represented by, the eagle. But truth, Debwewin, is it truth or honesty? I think it's truth, is represented by Sabbe. All the other ones have, just regular animals, the loon or the eagle or the bear or something. Akwede Ewin, I think the bear represents bravery. But truth is represented by Bigfoot. And it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, like, did they just see Bigfoot all the time? Like you do an eagle or something? Or bears? I don't know. It's a mystery. I think there's a mystery in the Bigfoot mystery. Okay, we'll see you later, Brandy Marie. Yeah. Bigfoot. What's up with Bigfoot? Looking out on the morning rain. I used to feel so uninspired until the day I met you. Life was so unkind. Your love was my peace of mind. So how's it going? Michael, you want to come up here and say hello? Yeah, sure. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us bring up the producer and the creator of the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast, Michael Lyons. And I'll be back. Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Lyons, and I am the creator of the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. See if I can make this look halfway decent. Looking out on the morning rain. So yeah, it is, what is it, Tuesday today? December 22nd. And this is probably our 3rd or 4th show. Yes, it is Tuesday. I'm starting to lose track of the days because I haven't been leaving the house. Yeah, good morning. Mino Giga Jeb. And we started doing these live streams because I wanted to prepare for a New Year's Eve show we're going to do. And we're going to do a New Year's Eve podcast, live stream podcast with everybody. And it starts at 11:30 on, it'll be a week from Friday, I guess. But as NanaBOOZHOO was mentioning earlier, we're streaming live from Bemidji, Minnesota. And this is in sort of north central Minnesota. We're pretty close to the source of the Mississippi River, Itasca. Looking out on the morning rain. So, first down bait. Howdy. BOOZHOO. Howdy. So how you guys doing? Yeah, Bigfoot. I had an experience. I never saw Bigfoot in real life, but a number of years ago, I had 3 dreams with Bigfoot, all in a row, or in 1 week. And so I went to this guy I knew, Jumbo, who knew a lot about, put on sweat lodges, and I won't call him a medicine man. He wouldn't have called himself that. But he spoke the language and knew a lot about these things. And I went and told him about these dreams, gave him some tobacco, and we sat down, and he goes, all right, what's on your mind? And I said, Jumbo, I've had these dreams with Bigfoot. I don't know what they mean. And in the first one, I see Bigfoot. I'm in the woods near my parents' home, the place I grew up. And he's like 20 feet tall. And he's just coming in real close, like to my face. And I can tell he wants to pick me up, but I'm afraid, I don't think he's like wants to hurt me, but I'm afraid that if he picks me up, that he might accidentally drop me. And if I drop 20 feet, I'm going to break my leg or something. And then there was another one, and I forget the details of that one now. But then, the third one, there were 3 Bigfoots. And they were all coming at me, and I was feeding them like dog treats. And it was kind of like cows. If you're in like a pen with a cow, or a horse even, and you kind of go, well, they're not really a threat, but if they wanted to trample me, they could, And so they're sort of moving towards me, and I kept moving back. And so I was just sort of, uncomfortable with it. And then their faces kept changing. Or they kept, all 3 of them had different faces. One had the face of a baby. One had the face of a monkey. And then one had the face of a Buddha. And so I remembered those little details. So I went to this guy, gave him tobacco, asked him to analyze my dreams. And he sits back and he was like, yeah, sup bae. It's very, very rare he ever lets anybody see him, even in dreams. So here's what I want you to do. We're going to set you up out in the woods here. We'll have you fast for 4 days and 4 nights. No food, no water, no anything. You'll seek out a vision, and it'll tell you what those dreams meant. And when I tell this story to my non-Indian friends, especially my hippie friends, my new age college, whatever, liberal friends, they all kind of like perk up like, oh, how wonderful, awesome. And when they're always disappointed in me when I say, oh, my heart just sank. I was like, what? No, I don't want to go out in the woods and fast for 4 days and 4 nights. But I didn't want to disrespect them. I was like, now what do I do? So I somehow wiggled my way out of the 4-day commitment and got him to agree to a one-day fast where he'd take me out in the woods before sun came up to a place that he had prepared, a circle with sage all around it, tobacco ties in the trees, a pipe, cedar, and we went out before the sun came up, and he goes, "You can sit here, and here's your pipe. You can leave if you need to go to the bathroom, but otherwise just stay here, and I'll come back for you after the sun goes down, and then we'll go in a sweat." And it was kind of like, okay, well, this is hardly a 4-day fast, but maybe you'll see something. And so I did that, and after it was all over, I did see some weird stuff during my sit in the woods that I won't go into here. But, and we had a sweat that night, and I didn't get home till like 3 in the morning, you know. But I came up with some insights, I don't know, that I'm still processing to this day. Happy New Year, SM! Happy New Year right back at ya. Bob Lanier, an old NBA guy, has a size 22 shoe. That's a big foot. Yeah, no kidding. People say, "Do you believe in Bigfoot?" It's like, yeah. Have you seen the NBA? Let's see. You guys in the Christmas spirit yet? I'm oddly kind of indifferent to it this year. Like, I don't have any Christmas stuff up, and I don't have a tree or anything like that. I'm not, you know, I don't have any plans to travel. And I wanted a piece of blueberry pie. So I went up and I asked this guy, but he only spoke Ojibwe. So I had to say, "Mina bushki mina sagani batu se chikani bakwajikan. Mina bushki mina sagani batu se chikani bakwajikan. Mina bashki mina shakani batu se chikani bakwajikan. Mina bashki mina sagani batu se chikani bakwajikan. Mina bashki mina sagani batu se chikani bakwajikan." Blueberry pie. In Ojibwe mowing, I don't know what's Christmas. Yeah. What's Christmas gotta do with it? Let's see, do I know any new songs? I'll hop at this one. I don't mind you coming here, wasting all my time, when you're standing oh so near. I kinda lose my mind here. It's not the perfume that you wear, it's not the ribbons in your hair. I don't mind you coming here, wasting all my time. I guess you're just what I needed. So, Jim Dunn is back. Bonjour, Jim. It's nice to see you. It is good to have Jim Dunn in the house. How you doing, Jim? Have you guys ever watched a podcast by Owen Benjamin? I discovered Owen Benjamin. He is a comedian, but he started a podcast just from his house. After he moved out of Hollywood, he got pretty much just run out of town. He lost his agent. He lost all his gigs. He lost all his jobs. Hollywood totally turned on him and banned him because he came out against transgendered children. Or even saying it that way is silly, but he said transitioning your children is child abuse, you know. And so he just lost his career as a comedian. But he started these podcasts, and he's a great piano player. And he just started playing piano, doing what we're doing here, and just talking. But he was such a funny comedian and so smart, and I got just hooked on his podcast. So if you ever get a chance, you want to see a funny comedian talk about everything, life and stuff, Owen Benjamin. And he gets deplatformed all the time because he's got like sort of, I wouldn't even say conservative views, but he's just not like totally on the Hollywood left wing, bandwagon. Like he's a regular family guy with a wife and kids, and lives on a farm. SM in the house. No spirit of Christmas here. The spirit of Moses ejected Christmas. LOL. Ejected Christmas. Yeah, I don't know the real story. I suspect that Christmas is pretty corrupted by paganism. Or not corrupted, but it's actually just a pagan holiday. And not pagan as in Satanistic, but like farmer. The solstice and all these imageries of holly and I don't think biblically it suggests Jesus was born in December. Has something to do with when the shepherds would have been out in the fields. I don't know. And when you see all the old pictures, it's always like, oh, they're in the desert, So it must be warm year round. But I don't know. Is it freezing in Bethlehem in December? So likely they would have just spent the night in a barn. I don't know. What do I know? I know nothing. So today's Ojibwe word of the day must be sabe, Bigfoot. What do you guys think? People will mock you for even discussing whether or not Bigfoot's real. It's like saying, do you believe in leprechauns? I don't know. Maybe they're real. I kind of believe in everything. I'm not superstitious, but, I'm a little stitious. All right. Get the microphone out of this shot by backing it up. And here's a song. Traveling in a fried out Combi on a hippie trail full of zombies. I met a strange lady, she made me nervous. She took me in, then gave me breakfast. And she said, do you come from a land down under, where the women glow and the men plunder? Can't you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover. What is that song about? You goes to Australia, apparently. A land down under. Meets a woman, gives him breakfast, and asks if they're too from the land down under. And then when the women glow and the men plunder. The men plunder. What does plunder mean? So we just go steal a bunch of stuff? We're plundering. There's a band of Ojibwe up here called the Pillager Band. And I always thought, what a rude way to define a group of people. All those guys are pillagers. You know, like pirates. Pillage. There's only one other thing that they're known for. It's blank and pillage. And so why would you go with that? Yet I know. And I never meant to cause you any sorrow. I never meant to cause you any pain. I only wanted one time to see you laughing. I only wanted to see you laughing in the purple rain. I was talking about Prince the other day. You know, because that's, you know, there's only two musicians really that Minnesota is known to have produced on a world stage, I guess. And that would be Prince and Bob Dylan. And when Prince died, the whole, it was like the state went into a weekend of mourning, you know. You would have thought, well, I mean, it was like when Elvis died or something. Especially people in my generation. And the hilarity, the funny part about it is, you know, most of us hadn't listened to a Prince tune that wasn't part of the Purple Rain catalog that you just hear on, you know, old-timey radio in decades. You know, he came out with a new album nobody knew about. And I heard like one track and it sounded just like do, 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 whatever that song was. You know, Prince had like 7 or 8 amazing songs. Just great songs. Historically great. But he wrote, you know, hundreds of songs that, you know, weren't great. You know, the guy had a big catalog of music none of us listened to. But when he died, everyone was reminded of the summer of 1984 and what it felt like to, you know, be young in the age of Purple Rain. You know, how fun it was to be totally immersed in 80s culture. And, you know, the manager times was when the biblical Feast of Tabernacles. Oh, the manger time was when the biblical Feast of Tabernacle was kept in the Autumn Harvest Festival. It does snow in winter in Israel. 31 degrees north can get cold. Well, there you go. That's cool that you know that first down bait. However you say that. I wrote a book once that I'm not that proud of, if I'm being honest. That's sort of a Christmas story. Let me see if I can find it. It's called Onyx Blood. I mean, I'm proud of it, but I feel like I need to talk about it. So this Christmas season, some of you might be familiar with a book called Onyx Blood. Onyx Blood is the story of a young girl who is half elf and half vampire. And it is an allegory, which is an English major's word for a story that represents a larger story. for the boarding school experience and being multi-racial, biracial, whatever. The story is basically Amix doesn't fit in anywhere. Her dad is a vampire, her mom is an elf. And the vampires are the dominant culture. They run everything, and that's in this world, vampires are just, the white people. And the elves are these traditional woodland characters, more like the Keebler elves, only big, than Lord of the Rings. But so like here is this is Amix Blood and her sister Lilith. Lilith is a full-blooded Indian, or a full-blooded vampire, and Amix is half. And the problem is Amix doesn't fit in with the real vampires because she can't drink blood. She can't transform into a bat. And she doesn't fit in with the elves. The elves all resent her because they feel like she gets special treatment for being half vampire. So they send her to a boarding school to learn how to be a proper vampire. And she runs away and meets a mummy named Stephen. And Stephen is a mixed-blooded, we find out later, spoiler alert, Stephen is half alien, half human. And he's disguised as a mummy, and he travels around in this train as part of an exhibition of ancient Egypt. So when Amix Blood runs away from boarding school, she hooks up with Stephen. They ride the rails, play cards. But it's actually Santa Claus who is the bad guy. Santa Claus is he has a workshop on the North Pole, and he rounds up runaway elves who escape from boarding school. It's a punishment. It's basically just forced labor camp, whatever. And so a bunch of stuff happens, and it's a pretty creative book. I'm proud of the illustrations. But when I reread it recently, I realized, man, it is really... It's kind of what a senior English literature major would have written. The artwork and the humor and the dynamic of this girl going on an adventure is really appealing to the audience I wanted to entertain, which would be young kids, like fourth graders. But if your fourth grader is really smart, if your fourth grader reads at an adult level, she might appreciate this. But it's confusing because it looks like such a kid book. And the narrative is, you could see this as a cartoon. But now that I read it, it's for sale. I just don't know if I'd recommend it anymore. I don't know. I guess it's okay. Amix Blood. But, my original point, though, is that it's a Christmas story in a way. It's a Halloween Christmas story because it's got vampires and werewolves and Santa Claus and elves. And when I first published that book, some parents got mad at me because they said it was anti-Christian. And an elder, Anishinaabe woman, in fact, pulled me aside once and she goes, you shouldn't make fun of Santa Claus. And I go, why? She goes, don't you believe in Jesus? And I was like, I totally got it, what she was saying, because we've somehow put Santa Claus and Christmas together with Jesus, that if you mock or if you villainize Santa Claus, people are going to think that you're being critical of Christianity. And maybe I was at the time too. I'm less critical nowadays, but... So if you would like to order a book from my collection for a little kid, I would recommend Little Cutie. Little Cutie is a much better book for kids. And I don't have a copy handy. Didn't we just do a show on Little Cutie? What's back here? A Little Cutie is a story of a teddy bear that goes on a vision quest. And, you know, I like the illustrations. The story is, you can read it in one sitting. That's the difference, too. Onyx Blood is way too long for a bedtime story. But Little Cutie isn't. And Little Cutie is a story of a teddy bear who goes on a vision quest. All the woodland animals that he meets along the way have Ojibwe names. Like Ojibwe is the squirrel. Waboos is the fox. Bakakwe is a chicken, you know. And he goes on a quest to find out where he belongs and who he is. And they all give him advice on, you know, who he should talk to, you know, before he makes these big decisions. But ultimately, he gets the advice that, you know, a vision quest is a conversation with a great spirit. And the eagle carries him to the Great Spirit. And when he meets the Great Spirit is sitting there with an alien named Stephen, and he's playing guitar, and he looks just like me. And they have this conversation where Gitchiamanadu tells him that he's become the most brave and wise of all the woodland animals, because he's not afraid of the humans. And as he's going through on his quest to find the Great Spirit, the woodland animals all kind of badmouth each other. It's just like reservation politics, where they'd be like, "Oh, you know, can you help me find the eagle?" Like, "Oh, the eagle? You think he's so hot? You know, everyone thinks he's so traditional and so patriotic, you know." And one of his best friends is a skunk. And nobody likes the skunk. And the skunk thinks everyone's afraid of him. Goes, "Oh yeah, man, they all think I'm, you know, they don't come around because they're afraid of me." But Little Cutie can't smell the skunk, you know. And, but they all kind of badmouth each other, but they all like Little Cutie. So Little Cutie has this commonality with all the woodland animals and with the humans. And we find out along the way too, the woodland animals don't trust the humans at all. And we know this in real life, that, you know, usually the squirrels don't let us within 10 feet of them. And, but Little Cutie, he, you know, lives right with them, and he gets along with all the woodland animals, so he's become this wise and courageous creature. But it's a story you can read from, you know, one sitting with a little kid. And it's got a nice moral and stuff like that. So I'm proud of Little Cutie. You can order that in the description to my Amazon page. All right. The Great Spirit knows Santa Claus is not even, as in the spirit of deception. Yeah, no kidding. It is the spirit of deception. You know, it's corrupted the story. You know, Jesus was all about being spiritual and not material. And Christmas is all about getting gifts and getting fat, you know, like Santa Claus. This fat red guy who, you know, who judges you for being good or bad. And then rewards. And in the old days, used to punish you, I guess. You know, give you a coal in your stocking. Gitchimanadu, Dagawi Duka Wishin. Way Niji Nanaguro Wendamin. Geodapaminan Bin Gegashki Kitosi Wanji Anji Sadoyanji Apichite Eyan. Jianji Sadoyan, Gagashki Katoyan, Jide Apichina Wakeyan, Ji Kandaman, oh no, Ape Inge. That was the Serenity Prayer in Ojibwe. Gitchimanadu, Dagawi Dukawishin. Gitchimanadu, Great Spirit, please help me. Weni Ji Nanaguda Wendamin. Geodapam, Odapanaman Inu. Geodapanaman Inu Gegashki Kitosiwan. Ji Anji Sutuyan, Ji Apichite Eyan, Anji Sadoyan. Whenever I'm trying to write songs, I was going to fall into sort of a David Bowie. Sometimes David Bowie would speak in the middle of a song. I think the English accent's really hard to do because it's not that different than just speaking English. Hello, my name is David Bowie. David Bowie, Nindija cause. Neman Windham, G-A-I-on. And I don't know why when I do a David Bowie impersonation, it's always got to be like, really quiet and passive. Hello. I think it's because it comes from one commercial I saw in the 80s where he was trying to raise money for Save the Children. And even in that commercial, he had to be like super cool. So he's wearing the yellow suit, with the bow tie that's not tied. Hairsprayed hair and all that. He's like, hello, this is David Bowie for Save the Children. Every year, children die of hunger. For the price of a cup of coffee, or a cup of tea, as we might say in England, you could save the life of every child in Africa. Please watch Live Aid. Did Live Aid do any good? Did they give any money? I found out that apparently Bono gave less than 1% of the money that he raised for charity actually went to the charity. Like 1%. I mean, that's cool if you don't want to give money to charity. That's fine. I'm not here to shame anybody to give money away. But but if you're doing if you're accepting an award for like Nobel Peace Prize and then the money you raise to help whoever doesn't actually go to them, that's kind of crappy. I can't drink out of these things. My lips always, I don't know where the coffee is coming. So about a year ago, I became famous. And I mean, I went up to Boys Fort and I gave a public performance or whatever. And I got this coffee mug from KBFT. The people are really cool here. It's a very remote reservation here in northern Minnesota. And they invited me up there to speak and bring the guys. And We sang some songs, and I was interviewed on the radio station and stuff. And I knew I had made it because when I pulled into town, I went to the first gas station. And on the window there, the first thing I saw was a poster of myself and the puppets. And I went, I finally arrived. I'm a poster in the gas station in Nett Lake. But I also got this from the Boys for It band of Chippewas. There we go. So to my brothers and cousins up in Nett Lake, BOOZHOO. You look more like Sheldon Surrey from Elk Point in Canada than Bowie. Yeah. I had a friend who told me I look like the guy who did Hamilton, that actor. I have one of those faces, I think, that looks like a lot of different people. And it doesn't need this much light. How's that? In fact, just the other day I was in a grocery store and they go, "Is that you, Joey?" Or whatever the guy's name was. And I went, "No, Michael." And he goes, "Oh, sorry, you look just like somebody else." I'm like, how could I look like somebody else is wearing a bandana and a hoodie, you know, doing my grocery shopping looking like I'm about to rob a bank in the Wild West. And, but I get that a lot where somebody will go, "Oh, hey, you look just like blank," you know. When I was in high school, people said I looked just like Ralph Macchio. And especially during the time when the Karate Kid movie came out, or, you know, I used to work in a school, and so every year you have a class that watches, what's that movie? Not Ordinary People. You know, S.E. Hinton wrote it. That was then, this is now The Outsiders. So The Outsiders is just, you know, I'm sure you've all seen it. But Ralph Macchio's in that. You know, he's the one who dies. You know, "Stay golden, pony boy." I looked just like that when I was that age. I even had a jean jacket that looked like that. And so when the movie The Karate Kid came out, I remember my mom telling me she got a call from a friend of hers, and like her friend just had to call up. She goes, "Have you seen the previews for this movie called The Karate Kid? There's a boy on there who looks just like Michael." And I went and saw The Karate Kid, and sure enough, I mean, I was built like that. My hair was about that long. And when he gets beat up on the beach, and then afterwards, you know, when Mr. Miyagi saves his life, I remember kind of grimacing because it was like watching a video of yourself getting your butt kicked. So yeah, Ralph Macchio, people have compared me to. Paul Stanley from Kiss, which is my favorite. I always try to encourage that. When I grow out my beard, my sister said I look like what's his name, Russell Brand. He used to be married to Katy Perry. So I don't know. It's just nice. I think when people try to find someone to compare you with, it's just for some reason they think your appearance is worth commenting on. I usually take it as a compliment. Well, you know who you look like? Frank Zappa. I got that once. I used to have a goatee, you know, and so Prince. I heard once, you know, I'm a mixed plug. I'm a Wissakote Winini. And so a lot of people think I'm Italian. And I'm not, but I always thought that was like cool. You know, when you're a mixed race, sometimes people, they'll know you're something and they'll want to know, but they're not sure if it's like rude to ask. And, but they'll always ask. And then like when I lived in Boulder, Colorado, you know, they didn't really know Indian people down there. And so they all assumed everybody looked like Graham Greene. And I'd be down there and they'd be like, say, if you don't mind me asking, you look sort of exotic. Are you Italian? What are you? And I'd say, oh, I'm native. I'm Ojibwe. And they'd be like, really? I'm like, why would I make that up? you know, what do you think I'm doing? I'm not exactly I'm not on the tryout list for the next Sherman Alexie movie. But it's like they wouldn't believe it. And they'd be like, but you're mostly Italian, right? It's like, if I said I was Italian, would you question it? Going, are you sure? Not full-blooded. You don't look like Don Corleone. That's what natives get. There's so much stereotyping of native people that even in the politically correct people, they have a very stereotyped. Like, for one thing, the stereotype is that the main defining characteristic of a native person is being a victim of racism. Like, we walk around complaining about white people a lot. It just doesn't come up. Can you turn into Michael the Archangel now? That's my favorite Michael reference. You are an Ojibwe imposter. Just playing. No, I'm an Ojibwe poser. That is one kind of defining characteristic of being not Indian, but being a mixed blood is this idea of identity. Am I Indian enough? Am I being a good Indian? Am I a bad Indian? Am I a sellout Indian? I don't think other races have that. Am I a wannabe Irishman? They don't have like identity issues. How much blood quantum of Irish do you have? Are you enrolled in Ireland? Are you a real Irishman? And also like real Indians, like people living in reservations and who are still connected with the language and stuff. They're not comparing and judging. It's like when you're in college, it's like, well, do you speak the language? Are you traditional Indian? God help you if you turn into a Christian. You lose like 10 degrees of Indianness if you become a born-again Christian. If you go to and you don't even have to be Sioux to do this. I've met Ojibwe guys who did this too. The not shaking tent, Sundance Festival. If you pierce yourself and you dance at a place in South Dakota, Eagle Butte, South Dakota. I met guys, they always have to show you. Like, I don't need to see your scars, but pull up their chest or show their back scars of where they pierced themselves. And then you go, all right, dude, hats off. You're a real native. You're more native than my grandparents. It's a tough one. I get some points because in the summer I can get pretty tan and I have long, dark hair. If you're a native with blonde hair, people don't take you that seriously. There's a couple of brothers who are sort of Ojibwe writers from northern Minnesota called the Troyer. They're not called the Troyer boys. They're known as. There's two brothers, only in Indian country go, the Troyer boys? But Tony and David Troyer are both Indian authors who talk a lot about the language. And Tony's really dark and has like a long braid. And he looks like somebody who just stepped right out of Dances with Wolves. But David's really fair-skinned and bald and doesn't look like he stepped off of a set Dances with Wolves. And people around here are like, well, here they come, Knight and Dave. But, you know, so when you come out as like, oh, the Indian guy's coming to, you know, read some Indian poetry or to talk about reservation issues, you know, it's best to look, you know, like Winona LaDuke. You know, no one's going to listen to you if you look like Val Kilmer. So those are my 2 cents. And we just passed the hour mark, so maybe this would be a good time to sign off. Natasha, would you like to say goodbye to the people before we go?
Yeah, why don't you let me come out? I want to model my beautiful earrings.
All right, hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome to the show the lovely and talented Natasha. Good on, BOOZHOO, sweetie.
Bonjour, everybody. Just want to say miigwech to Brandy Marie, a.k.a. Kathy, for my lovely earrings. Look how beautiful these earrings are, you guys. Got some earrings in the mail for Christmas. So let me say a special, you know, miigwech to Brandy Marie. We sure appreciate it. What else? La la la. Come watch our New Year's Eve show. We'll probably do another. You gonna do this tomorrow morning?
I might.
We might be back tomorrow. So if we come back tomorrow, we're gonna try to come on the same time. Oh, thank you for complimenting my earrings, SM. And yeah. Well, having said that, I will see you again. Gigawapamin. Midawa. Oh. All right. And live stream. See you later, guys.
See you guys. I just burped that out. Thanks for coming by, and I might show up tomorrow.